Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, and all you awesome people watching and listening in on Threads and Vim, this is Maniacs Podcast, the late edition. So, Task, just before we got on air, we had to explain what's going on. Basically, John Go's got a job, which is actually fascinating. Task, did you know that this is the first offline job I've held in over 20 years?
I did because I saw you posted on Threads. And do you know that by being on Threads, your IQ goes up, you become smarter, and you find out stuff like Django hasn't had a job in 20 years, an
Yes.
offline job.
Yes, an offline job.
And you know what JOB means?
Just over broke. Well, it's actually it's part of my trucking gig that I've been. 2023 was me going to learn how to be a trucker and get my license and all that.
I thought you were going to be being a male stripper. I didn't know what you were doing.
Well, that was my plan B.
That was your backup plan.
Yeah,
I keep trying to sell my body, but the only one who'll buy it is science. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but yeah, so that's why we're gonna have to do some scheduling juggling over the next little bit. I won't be able to.
It sounds like Task has to learn some technical shit too.
Yeah, Task might have to learn some technical stuff.
Hey, did you see my Twitter Spaces this on Monday?
I heard you were doing a Twitter Spaces. It was on Monday, so I was at work.
But isn't it recorded? I think.
Oh, it's there. Yeah. It's only it was 30 minutes too. You did time management perfectly, man.
Yeah. I'm expanding my repertoire.
Did you like it? Was it fun?
Well, I didn't know how to use Spaces, so it was kind of an impromptu. I threw it together. I might do something twice a week. I called it Task Money Talk or something, and I might do it twice a week, for half an hour, an hour. I don't know. Just something simple. And preparing for the Speak Broadcasting Network or whatever they're going to call it.
Speaking of Speak and the epicness that is 3Speak, they just released their iPhone app.
Oh, did they?
I'm in there. I'm signed in. So I'm going to be playing with this week. Now, they do the shorts, right? 3Speak shorts, right?
Yes, I believe they do.
So I'm thinking I might create a dedicated account for this, for the shorts.
I think you're smart on that, and then just screw around and put up 15 shorts a day as you know.
Right.
You're driving your truck and you stop somewhere and you take a picture of the chicken stand or something.
Yes. Yeah. Or the beautiful prairies that you can see your dog run away for 3 days, but so much to see out here. So John Shorts, yeah, exactly, Eliana. Yes, John Shorts, yeah. So yeah.
Eliana, that could be taken in a funny way. Yeah, John Shorts are the maple leaf thong that I keep talking to everybody about. Maybe that's what John's going to put up there. Who knows?
I'm distraught by that all. But thank you guys for tuning in this week. A little bit later than normal. We are on Threads. There's a Threadcast going out. I threaded it out. Task has threaded it out. It's under his account, Taskmaster4450LE. If you guys wanted to check it out, be part of it.
By the way, to finish up the housekeeping.
Yes, sir.
The question and answer session, I think, is going to be at 7 Eastern time going forward.
Yes. So this is 8 o'clock, but I didn't know my schedule yet. But apparently, talking to some of the coworkers, I'll be home for 7 o'clock Eastern every day.
So what we're going to do to let everybody know is we are going to have the show at 7 o'clock going forward, the question and answer, and guests when possible. But one of the problems is this time does not work for Europeans. Most Europeans, Eliana is the exception. So that might have to be done once in a while in the afternoon at the previous time. And I'll let you know that. But just plan on 7 p.m. each Tuesday and Thursday, unless notified otherwise. And we'll promote it on the time change.
Yes.
Eliana is special. And again, that could be taken a few different ways, but she probably qualifies on most of those definitions.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sad Cry is tuning in on Threads too. He's thrilled at this time because he can listen in live. So
Yeah, Jimmy Adamas actually liked it when he was working, but now that he's not working, he can tune in
hey,
anytime.
there you go. Like if people want me not to work, hire me and or make the price of Leo and Hive Moon, and then we're all good and we can go back to afternoon shows. Until then, dude,
So in other words, send John money.
yeah, yes. Pay me, dear sirs. Uh it's crazy, man. Like, I mean, this is I like my entire life, my adult life, 20 plus years of being in business for myself, and I'm still in business for myself, obviously. But this is the first time I've really felt like a responsibility to set an alarm clock, and it's weird. Dude, it's weird. Like
Dude,
the alarm.
you want to know how bad I am? I lost my job 4 years ago. And I think in the last 4 years, I've worn shoes, and not really shoes, sneakers, about 6 times. My feet, I got to take a picture of my feet for a variety of reasons. One, because Cal
For
likes
Cal. Yes. Right.
yeah, but I have flip-flop tan lines on my feet.
Yes.
That's how long it's been since I've worn shoes. So the idea of a job, really, I would go into.
I've worked for 2 days. You know, it's whatever. I like the hours because even though it kind of puts a little spin on our thing, I can still come home. I can still see my kids after school, spend time with them, eat dinner, and still plenty of time to thread around and do my business online. So it's cool. We'll see. Then again, I'm saying this 2 days in. Most of the guys I work with have been there for 16 years, and they're grumpy, man. But it's
A job will do that. Trust me. It'll make you depressed.
But they're like, oh, we love working here and our boss is great, but I've been doing this too long. Like they're all just like angry old men. It's pretty funny. It's great. I love it. I'm here for it. So, anyways, I hope you guys are okay with this little switcheroo that we're doing. But let's get into some threads. You want to load it up and see where the question's at? We can ramble on and on for a bit here.
Sure. We started a threadcast, and so we got people in there. And
yep. And for the record, I always make sure that it's in dark mode, even though I never look at threads in night mode. I always have it in day mode. This dark mode just feels so depressing to me. It's like Halloween. It looks like Halloween. And I'm not a Halloween guy. So, anyways. Moving to channel 2, and I don't want to butcher your name, but thank you. Ezinwani, is that it? If I butchered it, I apologize. Moving to channel 2, or channel 3, channel 4 even. Jesus Son says, I want to ask why some quests take longer period to review than others. Some of my quests have been on review since last night. I noticed that today too. Some stuff I did last night, it hasn't been reviewed yet. So this is my opinion of it. I mean, the guy is reviewing it. I think is like Nifty and like Eric, right? I mean,
I have no idea.
And I think Bitcoin Flood. I'm not totally sure. But it's not like a team of people. It's not like 20 people doing these reviews and stuff. So, as much as we love Leo, as much as we are very bullish on it, I still think Leo is a very small operation in the big scheme of things. So it's just I think it's a patience thing. I know that's not the answer, but I noticed that some of the quests I did yesterday still weren't reviewed, but it's, I mean, I just keep on keeping on. I don't know about you, Task. You don't do the Zeely stuff.
No, I'm not involved in it. So I don't have any insight into that other than what you said makes a lot of sense. Eric handles all that. I don't know who he's recruited. It would make sense that Nifty's involved. Bitcoin Flood would also be a logical choice. It's all manually done. So Eric needs to sleep at some point, and I know he's conducting partnership meetings. I mean, he's got his hands in a lot of different things.
Yep. Beautiful. Let us move down to Tokenize, friend of the show, watching on Vim, who said that this time is perfect. So good. I like Tokenize.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I'm teaching Tokenize about baseball. See, the problem is Tokenize. There's a Met game going on right now, and we're interrupted, and it's all John's fault. And it just shows how much all these Canadians hate the grand old pastime of baseball in the United States. They're still pissed. We took the hockey away from them, and that Florida, the land of sunshine and 90-degree weather, has like 8 Stanley Cups since 2000, and Canada has 0.
None.
But anyway, I digress.
I love it. Where's Tokenize from? Where?
He's Brazilian.
Brazilian. Well, then it's not soccer. It is football.
Yeah, and he speaks Portuguese, so he could teach you how to yell at Eliana in her native.
Eliana still hasn't taught me any bad words. I mean,
Well, that's why you get that from Tokenize it. Then you can yell at Eliana in her native language.
I like it. I think, yeah. Okay. Well, that works. Tokenize, thank you for the question here. And he says, I was taking a look at the witness votes on the HBD interest, and I saw that Smooth is voting at 15% rather than 20% with the majority. Since he is the guy behind the stabilizer, do you think he is seeing any threats to HBD sustainability? That's a really good question. I'd love to know Task's opinion on this, because I don't know why not all the witnesses vote. There's got to be a strategic reason why some of the top 20, like Block Trades votes at 12%. Acid votes at 15%. Smooth votes at 50%. So there's got to be a reason. I don't think it does anything to the sustainability of it. I don't know. I really don't know, but that's a really good question. Have you noticed that? Do you have any insight?
Yeah, I mean, 3Speak does 12%. I can only speculate. I have no idea why Smooth does it, to answer the question. I can't read his mind. I don't know why any of the others do what they do. Is it a disagreement? Do they think 20% is too high? Right. I don't know. I've been very consistent. I've maintained it. I've run the numbers, and I think I have a pretty good understanding how currency works and money works and banking works. And 20% at the levels we're at is nowhere near unsustainable. Right. So are they doing it just to not have total consensus? Maybe. I don't know. It's a medium of all the votes, and keep in mind, it's not stake-based, it's not placement-based. Block Trades, who I believe is in the number 1 spot, but maybe it's Yaba, and the number 20 spot, they carry the same weight on DPOS. You just have to be in the top 20 right. to have the same weight as everybody else, to have the same block production as everybody else. And so, that's where coin voting, as Dan calls it, is a little different under DPOS as POS. And that applies to all governance. Once you're in the top 20, everybody, I guess you could effectively say, gets 5% voting weight, if you will. Everybody's equal. So I don't know. I have no idea. I've never talked to any of them. I've never talked to Dan or Starkers about why they're at 12. I've never talked to Block Trades or Smooth or any of them. I don't know. Maybe they think 20 is too high. I don't know their reasoning, and I'd love to find out their reason and debate them on it if there is a reason for it. But
yeah. It doesn't, I don't know, for me, it doesn't really change my opinion of it, because I always noticed that Block Trades never had it at 20. He had it at 12, I think.
Yeah, he's been very consistent. And again, I don't know his reasoning for it. His logic, it's no idea.
Well, if you remember, HBD was at 10% forever. It was that was kind of the thing. And then they all bumped up to 12 just before 20 happened, if you remember. It's about a year ago. Did we do
15 first, or did we
something like that? It was just, I remember there was this short bump when it went from 10 to another number before it hit 20. And it's like all of the witnesses agreed on that. And then the 20 was kind of not everyone went to 20. So
I don't remember. We started at 3,
right.
and then it went to 7 or something, then 10, and then there was I think there was at least one iteration, maybe 2, before we got to 20. I don't know.
Yeah, I might be having my schedule all messed up. But speaking of that, I have a question, sir. We want your opinion. If you had to choose, you cannot say I like them both. This is the test. If you had to pick only one, Hive Power or HBD?
It depends on where you're at.
You can't do it. You're not allowed to do that.
Well, no, and this is there's a valid explanation. If you're just starting out, as much as you want on light Leo Power, you got to get Hive Power.
Right. Yeah.
You got to build that foundation. John and I have said this for 2 years, 2.5 years. Get your foundation in Hive Power. So work to getting 100, 150, 200 Hive Power. That's your basis. That's what you build from. Obviously, you can go to earn Leo, but if you're trying to focus on what do I build first, it's got to be Hive Power. Yeah. Once you have that set, then Leo is a perfectly acceptable choice. Now, to answer your question, if you're asking me right now, today, May 30th, 2023, which am I more optimistic about in terms of an ROI or a multiple? Right. It's Leo, because I think a 10x on Leo is very, very possible. 10x on Hive, I believe that'll happen at some point. It's just, I think we'll see 50 cent Leo before we see, what would it be, about 350 Hive. Of course, we could get a Korean pump at any time that could send it to who knows what. But I think just, in terms of if I was going to take, let's say, $1,000 and say, okay, where am I going to get the best return from this day over the medium term or the near term? I think it's Leo. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's because of the ad revenue. That's because some of the things that they're doing. And I think you will see a push in the token price. Very, very interesting buy wall, sell wall, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Not a lot out there. A lot of Leo is staked. So I think it all feeds into, Leo having at least a 4x run to maybe 20 cents, before the end of the year. I don't know if you see Hive at like $1.50.
Eliana and I went shopping today and bought up some Leo. I think she got 200. I got 200 too. You're right. Like you have to have Hive Power to do all this stuff. But the potential of what is being built on Leo, I think, is very attractive. And I think that's why I'm extremely happy with spending. There's people telling me, you should have got in. You could get in on the DeFi pools and you would have paid 3 cents instead of 4 cents. And I'm just like, the hassle it would be, first of all, for me to do anything on Ethereum or MetaMask. I'd rather punch myself in the kneecaps repeatedly for 6 months. I'll pay, because I personally think Leo under $1, like if it ever went to 50 cents, people would lose their mind and they'd sell it all, I'm sure. But I see the value in it, not looking at charts, not Bollinger Band, because I'm an expert on that. But I see the value in what's being built, the community, the app, the attractiveness of short form content. That's what makes me bullish. So if it goes to 20 cents, I could see that happening, no problem. 50 cents, sure. So anything under that, I'm buying it. 3 cents or 4 cents or 5 cents. It's no brainer.
I did a video about an hour and a half ago about this, and I had a interesting experience during the AMA. Cal was talking and he was saying some stuff, and he said, well, I feel like it's been the month of May was a year. And, with all that he's been through, I can understand that. And he was going through, some of the updates for the UI and all this other stuff and what's taking place, where they're at. Then he started talking about some things that he said, well, hopefully it'll be this week. He said, but I always say that, it's development stuff. So he really has no control over it. And he talked about the ad revenue. He said, hopefully we're going to get that contract up and going. And he said something very profound. He said, June should be a very good month for Leo. And he wasn't really talking in terms of the token price, but he kind of was. But what the interesting and the profound experience was, and what I made the video about, is I had flashbacks to, the first of the month when we would have our monthly meeting. And what took place at these meetings is we went through the month before and what happened, what took place, the numbers, and the month ahead. I was working for a business. And you don't see a lot of this stuff in crypto, because in crypto, it's always like, either people are talking about development. And I'm just as guilty of this too, which, you listen to the Hive core developer meeting and they say, okay, what they've done since the last meeting, what they worked on, what they're planning to work on, and, what went wrong and what they had to sidetrack. And, they got this done, but they found other bugs, and that'll be another 3 days of testing or whatever. That's the nature of the beast. But here with Leo, I was having a business moment where it's like, okay, you can start to see a business model forming and business mindset where, okay, and even if Cal's saying, okay, it's not necessarily in June, maybe it falls over in July, even stretch out and say, this is like, okay, this is what we're looking at over the next 90 days, 60 to 90 days. That's based upon building. It's based upon projections. It's based upon numbers. And then when you quantify stuff, we'll get the numbers from Eric. How many threads were made? June 30th or July 1st? Well, no. How many threads were made in June? And did we increase or did we decrease? Did we take a step back? Did our monthly users go back again? Did they go up? And these are metrics that every business uses. And ultimately with the ad revenue, it's like, okay, where do we stand compared to the ad revenue 6 months ago? Okay, how was the ad revenue in June versus July versus September versus, how was it versus the quarter before, the year before? And you can start to then see the value based upon the numbers. And it's like, okay, we did $10,000 in June and in July in ad revenue. Is that good? Well, we did 9,700 in June. Okay, that was good. So yeah, we did good. Well, no, because last July we did 15 grand, so we went backwards. These are things, you don't see this. Okay, maybe with some of the VC stuff, because they put these metrics in place and they hold the development teams and the product teams accountable in many instances. But you don't see this. I don't see it in crypto. So I think that's just a real unique situation. And I think the ad revenue, if they are pulling in some decent numbers, and once that's announced, once the contract's buying stuff and the price starts to move, and especially once people start to see that show up in their wallets, and then you can affect it by, threading more, spending more time on threads will do this. It's like, yeah, that gets you more money.
I mentioned this last week, and I'm planning a post on it. Like I don't know if you've, a lot of my content has been very pro threads. Like, so, I every time I have these ideas, I have in my piece of paper and I'm going to write down these ideas. I have these ideas and then I'm like, man, am I talking about threads too much? I'm like, no, I'm not. So this is a post I have planned. I mentioned it last week. The Leo, what it is right now, reminds me of the gold foil legendary fiend approach I was on Splinterlands just before SBS was launched and we had that year of airdrop. So I'll put this in context. Everyone in Splinterlands knew SBS is coming. Everyone in Leo knows that ad revenue is coming. They know this. This is not a secret. Cal's talked about it. We've spoken about it. You've talked about this. I've seen tons of, this is not a secret. No one in Leo will be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this was coming. Like, this is just like in Splinterlands. Everyone knew the more your collection was worth back before SBS was dropped, the more SPS you would get over the year. So this is going on. I'm buying up gold foil legendaries for, $30, $50, getting 50,000 collection power, doing the math of how much SPS I'm going to get over the next year because I'm growing this. Everyone knew this in Splinterlands. Not everyone started buying up gold foil legendaries. There was a few, obviously the savvy, but generally the prices of that didn't skyrocket until SPS launched and we had that Splinterlands bull run. So this is why this reminds me so much of Splinterlands, because this is not a secret. Ad revenue's coming. This is not a secret. This is being developed. This is going to be a thing. Meanwhile, when it's the exact same thing I saw with Splinterlands. Everyone knows this is coming. When it gets here, and just like you mentioned, when it starts going into people's wallets, oh, so if I have more Leo and stake it, I'm going to get more. Oh, it's like, yeah. So
I think you're spot on. That's a good analogy. I for whatever reason, that's the way people are. It's once it starts, everybody will say, well, hell, I should buy more Leo.
I wish I got it at 5 cents. You're so lucky. Like,
yeah, you'll get that. Yeah, all you lucky people could get in, Leo at 5 cents. Yeah, I got in at 4 cents, and then wrote it up to like whatever, $1, and then I wrote it back down to 5 cents. So you tell me how lucky I am.
Yeah, exactly.
It's. I am convinced the day it's announced and there's an article that'll generate some excitement, especially if the article that explains the project has a date that we are going to start this. The day the buying starts in Cal Threads, it started. That I think will be a big one, but I think you're right. The drop dead kick ass will be when somebody starts threading. I got 20 Leo in my wallet for
how did I get this? Oh, you got it from ad revenue. Oh,
and once that happens, or as Cal sends out puts up a post and says ad revenue will go out next Tuesday or whatever it is. Yeah. That's, I think, when people start to see that showing up, then it'll be like, wow. And so I think you'll get two phases. I think you'll get the ad revenue by the token, which should put buy pressure on, and then you'll get the second wave of what we just talked about.
Yep. Can't wait. Not financial advice. Eliana has a question. We all know you both can easily create quality content. Well, thank you, Eliana. I don't know about me, but Tass for sure. But do you guys think Chat GPT, GTP, or G whatever chat is, still haven't used it for the record, can be kind of a threat? I mean, it helps a lot, but what if it turns into an addiction and we will never know what is human content or not? I mean, personally, I don't think you're going to be able to fight it. I think it's going to be the new norm. I think the currency that's going to matter, and this is something Task and I have talked about, it's the relationships. Sure, you could start a relationship with an AI bot now, but it'll still take a year before you trust it. So now is the time to build up that trust factor, I think, with your readers, with the people you engage with the followers on Thread, with the people you follow on Threads. Now is the time to do this, because don't fight tech. Every example in the history of mankind, anytime someone has tried to slow down innovation and said, it fails miserably, aka Napster in the music business. I lived through it. I know exactly what it does to the people that fight it. So it's going to be here. So you've got to learn how to navigate in that new environment. And I personally believe the new currency is going to be your social reputation and the relationship you have built with real people and they've built with you. Personally, I think that's going to be a big deal. I don't know, Tass, what do you think? I think we should just give in to the AI and let them do it.
Yeah, well, it's certainly, like you said, it's not going to stop. It's only going to get more powerful. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get easier to use. And this will become the norm, which then you have to look at what's not the norm. And yeah, it's true. Copywriters are going to be put out of business. Journalists are going to be put out of business. But what's going to stand out, and this is just another twist on what you just said, John, is the relationship or the people you know who are human, who you trust, whose content you value, who you know are not AIs, who you've been following. And for them, it's like, it's like AI can create music now, and that'll only get better as time goes on. But does that mean that human artists are not going to be appreciated? I think it's the exact opposite. We'll have a lot of AI created music, which will take care of the jingles, which will take care of background music, which maybe take care of music in videos and whatever you put together. But in terms of your personal music that touches you, if you will, or music that you like, or music that you want to listen to when you're in a mood for something, then you'll turn to your favorite artists or groups or whatever. And, I think that's what the difference is. But you were in the music business. I mean, Def Leppard was probably the number one band that was, how shall I say, synthesized, because you listen to Joe Elliott on the records and it's like amazing. And then you listen to him in person and it's like, huh?
Yeah.
It's not the same dude. Well, it's because Mutt Lange, got together with the best people working the boards there, and they just took Joe's voice and, had him hitting on every key. So we know music has been enhanced for forever, for the last 40 years. But, it's just going to be something. And what it is it'll be a flood more of stuff, of content. It'll just be more and more data. And you'll just have to gravitate and sift through and find what you like. And a lot of the AI stuff is going to be the basic. It's going to be the knowledge. It's going to be the information. It's going to be, okay, good. I got what I needed out of that. But I doubt it's going to be as moving, because you're not going to have the connection.
There was a really good book I read probably 6-7 years ago. Canadian author by the name of David Sachs. He wrote this book called Revenge of Analog. And the book was basically talking about how all these old school things are coming back on vogue. Like the record, the 12-inch record, the long play record was coming back. The Polaroid camera was coming back. And I think what this stuff did, not so much the tech, that wasn't really the big message, I think, was it was the human touch. That was what I really took from the book. And I think that this is what you're going to see. It's going to be like, yeah, you can do all this stuff with AI, but there's just a little bit more human, let's say, to certain things that you just can't get from a bot, let's say. So, yeah, I think, savvy business people, savvy creators, savvy marketers, they'll learn how to navigate this. They'll use it to their advantage even. But this is kind of where we just got to be on our toes and embrace things. And, so good stuff. Good question. Tokenize got another one too. I have a few questions regarding the rewards distribution options. I know that burn will send rewards to null, but what happens if you choose to decline? Also, if you burn, both author and curator rewards are sent to null. Good questions.
Only author is sent to null. Curator are paid out as always.
Right.
And that's under burn. Decline means it just is in the reward pool. So whatever you were going to earn off that post, let's say it's $20. That $20 is as if you never wrote that post. It's in the reward pool. It gets distributed to everything else. And this is where in our conversation with Marky a month or so ago, when somebody downvotes, it's like they don't get the rewards by downvoting. Yeah. They just cancel out the votes there, and it gets pushed back into the reward pool. So that's what decline does. I do that on all Leo Glossary posts. I decline reward. So if somebody does upvote it, it doesn't get it paid any Hive. It doesn't get paid any HBD. And quite frankly, that is, and as you were saying, John, with the shorts, I think this is a aspect of Hive we don't investigate enough or don't utilize enough.
Yeah.
If you decline rewards, you can take a much different approach to Hive with certain things than if you're in the reward pool. And I'm not saying, let's say Tokenize has his account, Tokenized Society, and he puts up content. He wants to be rewarded. He does everything status quo. But then he sets up a different account because he wants to use Hive for a different purpose. And he wants to post, these scores of his Dungeon and Dragon matches.
Yeah.
He could, and he has 50 of them a day to do.
Yeah.
Well, he could do that and just decline rewards. And people have asked me, well, did anybody mess with you on Leo Glossary? No. Why would anybody mess with me? I got the resource credits. I don't need permission to post to the blockchain, and I'm declining rewards because I'm using Hive for a different purpose with Leo Glossary than, to monetize content. That's not the intention of Leo Glossary. And so I think these are things that we need to look at for using Hive as a database, a permissionless database, and a mutable database, and a information center. But, to do that, it may mean declining rewards, which, to be perfectly honest, a lot of stuff shouldn't be rewarded. I mean, Leo Glossary shouldn't be rewarded, a lot of that stuff. A lot of them are 3-sentence explanations. So that's not worth anything.
You don't think your work in Glossary should be rewarded? I know you're I want to do this for the community and this is bigger than just, but you don't think your work should be rewarded?
No, not on that. I mean, if I was putting up, but there were some days I would put up like 3,000 word posts and, edit a bunch of others. It just isn't congruent with the reward pool. Now, I would have to monetize it in a different way. And if I was capable and if I was building a business, how I would monetize it is I would build a website around it. I would pull the data off the blockchain. I would, then look at SEO in that website to get rankings. And then, of course, probably put advertising and stuff like that into it. That's how I would monetize it. And, you could maybe do something with a layer 2 token or something. I don't know. But again, it's monetization on Hive versus using Hive as a database. Sometimes you're going to have specific purposes. And I think I was talking to RM Sadkri, and I said, why don't you start posting EPL stats and stuff on Hive? And, that would be something to do, but you'd want to decline rewards. But now you're making Hive a database for that type of information that A, is on Hive, B, can be found by the search engines, and C, if somebody wants to take that and incorporate it into an app or incorporate it into, let's say, some type of sports app or something that's created, the data's there. And then we pull the data. And that's, ultimately what Leo Finance is going to do is they're going to pull the data that I created for Leo Glossary. Not that we, because it wasn't just me. There were other people involved, with that. Adrian was one of the big ones with Splinter Glossary. But, now you have the capability of pulling that data and incorporate it into Leo Finance, which is, on the list to do with the new UI here at some point. So, again, not everything is for direct monetization. And, what does something like that do for Leo Finance if it does? And, part of it is Leo Finance SEO.
Yeah.
It's been shit. Well, the new site evidently is a little bit more SEO friendly. So hopefully that will start to filter through to some of these other pages over time. And if that's the case, what happens if Leo Glossary starts ranking in some of these terms, especially the cryptocurrency terms?
Yeah.
Then, you're looking at some traffic being driven.
Man, this like everything's just coming together for Leo, man. I hope people see it, but they won't. They will once things get airdropped to them. Not even airdropped, excuse me, distributed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an airdrop. It's actually buying from the open market and paying it out as a return. Just like you delegate to your HP to Leo voter,
Yep.
it goes and buys Leo on the open market and distributes it to you. It's the same thing. And I know you enjoy that Leo showing up every day in your wallet. And
Yep.
I mean,
I got 70 Leo right now for my delegation. So I just staked it because I'm a degen.
yeah, I mean, it's everything's coming together because a lot of time was spent building stuff. I mean, I've talked to you about Leo Glossary it's damn near a year. It was last summer that I started it. And Gadrian got involved not long after that. And a few other people have helped out along the way. These things take time. I mean, time, consistency, effort. You're building stuff. And unfortunately, crypto is when moon. I want everything to happen now. And usually that stuff is built upon a pile of shit because there's nothing to it. And you've built businesses online. You've built rankings for websites. You've done all of this stuff. Bitcoin Flood's done it. It takes a while. You just don't flip a switch overnight and it's like, oh, wow, I get 1 million visitors a day. It'd be great if it happened, but it usually doesn't.
I got some shameless self-promotion. If you don't think you're above that, are you okay with a little shameless self-promotion?
What's the difference? I'm not the one doing it. You're the one doing it.
Well, yeah. We hit 1 million page views at CTPX.
I knew that because I was on Leo Threads, and Leo Threads makes you a lot smarter because you posted on Leo Threads.
I think you mentioned that yesterday. I got home from work and you made a thread that was pretty cool to me, and I think people and it spurred the idea to do the thread storm too. We don't know the full potential of threads yet. We're using it. Majority of people use it to throw their links out, which is interesting because if anyone who's in the marketing world remembers when social media came out, that's how internet marketer gurus told you how to use social media. Throw your links out. Don't worry about engaging with people. Now it's changed. Obviously, the tune has changed, but it was just throw your link out. Get your link out. Throw your links out. And I think it does a disservice to what we can do. And one of the things I'm using it for personally is to share news with what we're building on CTPX. And what a great thing to share, in my opinion. It was just like I was in, the back end administration of CTPX, and there's the page views, over 1 million. I was like, heck yeah, I'll share it on threads. And I think more and more people, especially online businesses, should be doing that. And like I said in my thread storm, create your own hashtags. Don't just use, like, EPL is great. Don't just use EPL. GM Friends is great. Don't just use that. Create your own. Does it mean it has to be trending? No. But, you can get a little creative with it. And you never know. Personal branding, engagement opportunities, rewarding followers that engage with you. Don't just settle.
You also can find stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
Search the tag.
Yeah, that's funny because that used to be a thing on Twitter. Like I know everyone just now clicks on hashtags, but that was a big thing. I think they had search.twitter.com back in the day. And that's how you searched for things, was through hashtags. So use it for that.
So if you use like Django CTP,
yes,
and you use that each time you put something up there for CTP business, then you went and clicked it, you could find it. There's all the threads related to that, and you can pull it up and and boom, send it out. Copy it.
I remember doing these live seminars with people. This was going back 10 years ago or something. And Twitter was brand new. Well, it's not brand new because it was, older than that, but the majority of the people in my industry were not using Twitter at this time. So I would do live seminars, basically training them how to use hashtags in Twitter. And I'd be saying, check this out. You know how hashtags work. The problem is most people use hashtags like fun, hashtag happy, hashtag food. And I tell them, everyone and their mother uses that hashtag. You, as a marketer and a business person, should create something unique to you. Because check this out, and I would screen share just like we do here. I would click on the hashtag, and if your hashtag was unique, you'd be the only one that was trending for that. Not even trending. You'd be the only one. That was a search. You'd search for that. So you could do like John's contest, for example, just, shooting something out. And all the people that use that hashtag you knew were engaging with you. And you could get really creative with that. And we can do that at Threads. The thing with Threads, the difference is we don't need to worry about 20 million people. So you can stick out fairly easily on Threads. So, anyways.
Well, and I will say that is a double-edged sword. You want my attention, that's good. You got it. Is it for the right reason?
Right. Good point.
And, it's if you're just going to sit there and spam, and I use spam in the general sense of the term because I don't like that. Anybody can post what they want. What the hell is spamming on Threads?
Right.
But if you're only just going to drop your link and that's the extent of your engagement, you'll stand out. You'll get my attention because I'm always on Threads, and it's like, oh, this guy just dropping his link again, or this girl just dropping her link again. Yeah. Or if you just, post, whatever sayings, not that there's anything wrong with that. I think information should be put on Threads. But if that's all you do, and especially if you're not putting them in a thread storm, if somebody's putting together a thread storm and putting, there's somebody, Cyclops or something. I don't know who that is, but this guy's putting together, 50 thread storms, and he's putting, all the state capitals or, the top 50 cryptocurrencies or the all-time highs of cryptocurrencies. And, that's fine. I mean, it's all in a thread storm. It's all neat. It's, what it is. Great. Knock yourself out. But, you get people who they'll just put up, days of the month and all, or not days of the month, the months of the year. Mm-hmm. And there's 12 different threads. It's like, okay, what is that? It's like engage, talk, converse. And that's the ultimate goal of Leo Threads is engagement. And I don't know, John, you were in the social media world long before me. I mean, I think the thing that Twitter's done the best at, if I had to guess, YouTube, there's not much engagement proportionally speaking. I mean, there's over 1 billion people on there, and there's not a lot of commenting going on. I guess, their live streams, some of those people can have some interest in stuff and some engagement. But I think Twitter has the most engagement. I don't know about Facebook. You were on Facebook years and years ago. I mean, was that decent engagement, or is Twitter the only one that really captured engagement?
It depends. I mean, obviously, Facebook is an older demographic that uses it. And the only real engagement I get is if I share pictures of my kids or my dog. That's basically it. Now, this is streaming on Facebook right now. Let's go check live. Let's check all the social media platforms. So far, we have YouTube. Lots of people using YouTube. A lot of the people that are using YouTube can't use Vim, so they're using YouTube. So I understand that. But on Vim, we've got plenty of people watching. Tokenize is in there. Best Start is in there talking. Pretty good engagement. Now we'll go over to Twitter. We'll see what's going on Twitter. We got 2 people. 2 people. Bradley Arrow, who should know better.
Oh, He skipped the Threadcast. Oh,
Skip the Threadcast, but he's on Twitter.
Bradley is not getting any upvotes for 2 weeks. Bradley,
There you
you're in the penalty box. Is he
Yep.
is he Canadian?
Yes, he is. Yes.
No, so he understands what a penalty box is. Then
Yes.
okay, he's in the penalty box. Bradley's been bad.
We are on Facebook right now. The only person who has liked and shared this is Eliana, who is my business partner. So, yes, for Facebook sucks unless you're putting pictures of your family up. That's it. Facebook, no one will support the things that feed those family members, but they'll definitely like the pictures of the family members.
Yeah, but I mean, going back, was there engagement even in the past on Facebook?
A little bit. I mean, it was
so basically Twitter brought the engagement to the forefront.
And YouTube. YouTube is very heavy with the engagement. If you're live streaming and comments on the videos, it's pretty active.
Well, live stream I see if you get a good decent following, but even the comments on the videos I don't find that impressive. And people say, well, look, this video has like 400 comments. I'm like,
right.
Yeah, but it's a song and it has 15 million views. And okay, maybe the views are bullshit, but
right.
There's 1 billion people on fucking YouTube. So people are gonna show up and comment somewhere. A group of them are. I mean, I've never put a comment on YouTube, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I guess it could be okay, but it just seems to me that YouTube, I mean, Twitter was built around the idea of engagement, and that's what Threads is. We want engagement. And,
yep.
I think things will change for when we get more filtering options. That's really what needs to happen is get more filtering options. And then if there's somebody that you don't want to see their stuff, then, you just only have a following that you see their stuff. And you don't see these other people. I don't know. There's got to be a way to do it where you don't see everything unless you go to the new section.
Yeah. That's definitely a model that works. I mean, Twitter was always really good for engagement.
It's close to real time. I mean, it's I can send you a message, I can comment, and if you don't see it for 8 hours and then you message me back in 8 hours, fine. I get the notification, and when I wake up the next day, I'll notify you back. But if you're around, I'm around. I mean, we can almost be in real time, even if it's like a 5-minute delay because I run out or you're offline, and but it's you can go back and forth and you can have those conversations.
Right.
That gets kind of hard on other platforms.
Yep. And the best thing about Threads is that you potentially, not guaranteed, but you potentially could be rewarded. I want to shout out Cal, because Cal came by and basically not only did Task and I, because my obviously stake is pale in comparison to Task and to Cal, but Cal graciously came by, and everyone that asked questions on today's Threadcast just got some healthy upvotes. So looking at the number here, we'll just look at Tokenize. Tokenize got 3.9 Leo and 0.135 HBD for asking one question. He asked two, so he can double that. So thank you to you guys that took action and took part in the Threadcast, because it's not a guarantee, and I'm not saying Cal's sitting there waiting for Cryptomaniacs to come, but this is the potential of being active on Threads. The whales on Threads will upvote you if you are adding value, and they will see your stuff. I mean, one alpha literally shows up once a day and says, who wants to milk a whale? Like, he literally has these posts where all you got to do is say hi in it, and he will like upvote you. It's pretty cool. So
and what did you say, Cal? It was like 3.8 Leo.
Yeah,
at 5 cents, we'll round it to 4. We'll say 18 or 20 cents. that he got, plus a little bit of HBD on it, just asking a question. Now, is Tokenize going to retire on that? No.
No, that's not the point.
It's 20 cents. Okay, big deal. But it's 20 cents for asking a freaking question on social media. How much have you, John, remind me, you started on Twitter like in 2008 or 2009?
Yeah, big fat zero is the answer.
Zero.
I know what you're going to ask.
14 years.
Yeah.
And Tokenize got 18.5 cents for asking a question. And like you said, it's not guaranteed, but that's what takes place. And plus, I wrote my post just before the show. Leo, Threadcasts are an important part of this ecosystem, and I think they have to be promoted for reasons just like this. It allows for two-way engagement, not only engagement like we were talking on YouTube. The fine thing about YouTube, John, the monetization always was one way. I think they're called super chats, and people send the streamer money, which is cool. I mean, that's a good thing, but how come there's nothing going back to support those who are supporting the streamer? Here, John and I can go and upvote you. CTT guys, Dan and Matt, go through the Threadcast and upvote. Cal floating around, he must have seen the Threadcast or whatever, and he started going through, and he just upvoted a bunch of them. You're not going to get rich off of it, but think of the micro earning era.
It's
micro earnings.
It takes nothing to do it, and you just do it multiple times a day, and beautiful things can happen.
Yeah, and you get a little bit here, a little bit there, and you don't worry about it, but then it adds up, and then you stake it, and then you curate with it, and it compounds. And, oh, by the way, the damn price goes up 5x in USD. Yeah. And next thing you know, it's like, oh, well, that 18-cent question that Tokenize asked is worth, 90 cents.
Yeah. Yep. It's a beautiful thing. Dude, good show, man. And appreciate everyone's patience with the scheduling. My life is in utter disarray now that I have a job. But we'll see how long this lasts. Hopefully everything moons and crypto goes to the moon and green candles every day. There's my dog barking like she's gonna do something, but she never does. She just barks. But yeah, man, great day, great show. We'll see what's happening. She's really gonna bark while I'm closing the show down. She's gonna... Unbelievable, dude. Get a Rottweiler, they said. It'd be fun, they said. Hold on. Before we close it, let me just scream at her. Anyways, thank you guys for coming.
And we will be on at 7 Eastern time on Thursday. I will put up the Threadcast a little earlier in the day. I wasn't sure the schedule today, so I'll put up the Threadcast earlier. Bring your questions. You will be rewarded. And what the hell, we'll try to find Cal and see if he could drop in and throw a few upvotes your way also.
You never know what'll happen. Toodles.